Happy Sunday evening, everyone. What's good? What's good? There's another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Of course, you know who I am. I'm Jared Old Evan Green. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And of course, I got my brothers, my co-hosts with me. Of course, the great Mr. Southern himself, Coach 67 Sports TV. What's going on, bro?
It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Hopefully everyone is doing well this evening. How are y'all gentlemen doing this evening?
We blessed, can't complain, man, at
We
all.
blessed, man.
Amen.
And JB, my brother, what's going on, man?
What's up? What's up, man? Just another day in paradise, man.
Yes, sir.
I hear you. And of course, I have other co-hosts with me. Big Joe Town, LDBC Business. What's going on, bro?
Salute to the family. Happy Sunday to y'all. How y'all doing? What's happening?
All is well. How you doing, Big Joe?
What's
Just
up,
marinating
Tom?
in the cut. Yeah, I don't know. What's going on with the family? Just got back from a work conference, cooking dinner, all is well. You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
I feel it, man. Got a lot to talk about today, man. Of course, we're gonna be a short show. We want to try not to let it reach to an hour, but we're gonna cook today, man. Call some UFL action, man. I must say, man, like I said last week, it's been some good football, man. I called the Birmingham Stallions versus first, let me go in order. On yesterday, San Antonio Brahmas versus Memphis Showboats. The San Antonio Brahmas won 2019, and then the Arlington Renegade versus the St. Louis Battlehawks, which the Battlehawks won 27-24. And then today was the Birmingham Stallions versus the Michigan Panthers, which the Stallions won 2013. The Michigan Panthers got this kicker named Jake Bates, bro. He can kick 60 plus with ease, man. So definitely, he's gonna when the NFL football season rolled around. He's definitely getting signed, bro. If you don't, I definitely will be shocked. Houston Roughnecks beat DC Defenders 23-18. Good football, man. Did y'all see that play on the Houston Roughnecks where basically, I believe it was a running back, basically had a home run, and then he was caught from behind and fumbled the ball and got back in the game.
I didn't see
Yep, saw that. Broke all this shit off too.
Yeah, broke. He broke. Yeah, had to get carted off the field, and I think the DC Defenders won, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this has been good football, man. It's been quenching that football thirst, until we wait for the NFL season. So, what y'all think, Big Joe? What you think?
Oh yeah, no, I'm loving the league. The NFL does not have a supplemental or like a grassroots league to help. So that way, so guys late bloomers can develop and guys needs to get some more reps in. I've been enjoying the football games. I definitely watched the game today. Yeah, I thought Buddy was gone. I'm like, okay, I see you, happy feet. He was gone, and then old boy plucked him, ripped the ball out, and however he fell, he broke his elbow, wrist, or whatever. Some guys, when they get caught, when they fumble, they act like they hurt on, just to make it seem like, well, it ain't my fault, coach. But he looked like he was really hurt. But
ain't nothing.
and you know what I mean? Yeah, I've seen some bull crap. Like, man, you ain't hurt. Man, you got plucked. You good? But yeah, no, it's been some good football. I mean, these have been really close games. You know what I mean? Like the UFL is popping right now. Eventually give it a couple more years. Hopefully, be more fans in the stands. But it's really good football. The guys are playing hard. The guys are, you've seen the camaraderie come together. They ain't got that much time together. It's not like they've been together for a whole year. They're literally throwing it together in some weeks. And these guys are, they're playing some good brand of football. So I hope it continues. But this is definitely a good start for them, and the games have been competitive, and there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of good talent, whether if they go from there to Canada or go to the NFL. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who deserve an opportunity, so I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to keep watching.
definitely, man. Salute, boxing freak, man. The first time me seeing you, but welcome, brother. Welcome, man. Welcome. Thanks for listening. Uh, Joe, Big J, good man in the building. Appreciate always showing love in the background, man. I appreciate you. Love you, brother. Um, but yeah, JB, what you think about the UFL action that's been going on lately?
I second that, man. I love it, bro. Extra football is good football, man. Um, the Houston Roughnecks and the DC Defenders, lost last week. So I thought they were gonna be better this year. The Jordan Tamil from the quarterback from Ole Miss is not playing great, but he squeaked by with a win today. And I saw the other games, man. What's my boy name? My favorite running back in the league right now, Darius Victor.
Yeah,
What team he played for? I forgot. Is it I gotta see what team he played for. I forget, but I love his running style. He got a Jamal Lewis running style. Um, and I just like Town said, just keep watching it, man, and hopefully they expand, get better, maybe get some more teams in there.
Memphis
You
show,
know,
JB.
oh Memphis Showboats.
Yeah,
Which one is the destroying dude on there? The kicker. Was it the Showboats?
with the Jake Bates.
No. The black kicker.
Yeah, the 7-on-7 dude that got like what 5 million
Okay,
subscribers on the 7-on-7 team.
I think it's destroying is on. Let me look it up. I don't want to say nothing wrong. Destroying is on the Brahmas.
The Brahma Bulls. Okay.
San Antonio Brahmas. Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
everybody, go ahead.
congrats to him, man, because I know he's been hustling, trying to get on to the team, man. Hey, man, I'm happy to see a black man win, bro. You
Amen.
know,
Amen. Jay Barr always supporting, man. I appreciate you. He said salute family in chat. Appreciate you, man. Boxer Freak said, I'm watching my son. I'm listening. Salute to brother Jello, old 11 Green, and the rest of the panel and chat. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we're open space. We can talk ball, anything, man. Yeah. Yeah, we but Coach, what you think? I know you've been eyeing the females or lady NCAA basketball, but were you able to catch some of the UFL games?
All right, before we get to that, again, shout out to Boxing Freak. Big shout out to Jay Barr. He be showing a lot of love, and a special shout out to a huge part of our show, Jay Good, even though he not on, much love, and big shout out to Big Jay Goods, But in terms of the UFL, bro, I hadn't been able to catch anything, bro, because first and foremost, a lot of times when they on, like I'm on Bayou Sports Talk. So, usually when they having those games on Saturdays, like, we doing the show. So either I'm prepping for the show or we doing the show. And then after the fact, like you say, I kind of been into the NCAA more so than UFL. But I think once the UFL doesn't have any more competition in terms of something that's going to divide my attention, I think that's going to be difficult because I know pretty soon the NBA playing tournament getting ready to start. So the NBA players are getting ready to start. So, and plus I've been doing a lot of shaking and moving behind the scenes and trying to set up some other, business type stuff. So I kind of been preoccupied and busy, but I haven't been able to check in at UFL out. But first chance I get,
Please do, man. You missing out. The Rock and his ex-wife Danny, they believe they found something. Hopefully, it's if they're able to keep up the good work. Mr. Shelton talking about some what y'all in here lying about. Nah, nah, nah. Salute Mr. Shelton, man. Um, but yeah, man, good football, man. And then now we since it was part of a segment, but I might as well talk about it since it's part of football talk and HBCU falls into football talk. Unfortunately, I got bad news if you're in the Raleigh area of North Carolina. St. Augustine, which is an HBCU, part of the CIAA division, uh, Division Two football program is no more. Unfortunately, it's been because of funds and they're not able to keep up with the program. They had to liquidate the program, unfortunately. I just feel sorry for those young men. Of course, you know those young men that were on the current roster now have to find a new home to play football, man. And this is what me and Coach and even Joe Town and JB were talking about in the past shows, where go out and support your HBCUs. If you even if you're not a politic person, go and vote for somebody who's going to support and put money in these HBCUs, man. Because if you don't, stuff like this will happen. I'm going to you, Coach, first with your knowledge, man. You my right hand man when it comes to HBCUs. Talk. What you think about this the unfortunate situation?
Bro, this is a very, very unfortunate situation. It's sad. I hate to see anytime HBCUs go through this type of thing, whether it's St. Augustine, whether it's Morris Brown, whoever it may be, because, behind the scenes, people don't know. Like recently, I sent you this clip, when Steve Aaron McNair played his junior year at Alcorn State, they played against Southern. Southern only lost one game that year, and they won the SWAC and the HBCU National Championship. And basically, I was kind of pointing out to you that, like, if you go to my channel, you look at some of the clips I have from Southern's both football games and basketball games this season, and if you were able to look at some of those same like games from maybe like 21, 20, 19 years ago, if you look at the fan support for both Southern football and basketball games back then compared to now, it's like a huge drastic drop off, because even like the last basketball game I went to, the last weekend game they had against Bethune-Cookman, like one of my subscribers was like, the Fel G. Clark Activity Center is empty, like looking at, and I'm thinking maybe he thinking like myself, like back in the Gap, like if you look at, Southern games from like the mid to late 90s basketball games, bro, the Fel G. Clark Activity Center used to be packed. And you can say the same thing about the Southern football game. Like if you look at a clip on my channel now, like a Southern game from this season, and you look at that game between Alcorn State and Southern and 9-3, bro, the atmosphere was electric. Like the A.W. Mumford Stadium was packed. And the reason that's alarming to me is looking at St. Augustine situation. Like what happened to them, it could happen to any HBCU, maybe outside of maybe of a Jackson State, maybe Alcorn State, maybe Southern, but outside of that, that can happen to any team. So that's why it's imperative that we support our HBCUs. And they don't have the same type of financial support that PWIs have. It's as good as Southern might be doing compared to some of the other HBCUs, bro. That support pales in comparison to LSU. So it's imperative that we support our HBCUs.
I agree, brother. I agree. Big Joe, what's your thoughts, man?
Oh man, it's definitely sad business out here. You know what I mean? It's just like I said, I feel bad for the players. Obviously, they can still stay at the university. and be students. But a lot of those guys, obviously, most of them probably won't make it to the NFL or even play Canadian ball or anything like that. But the fact that, most athletes, they just want to play in college, and the fact that that was
You cut out big. You were cooking, Big Joe. You cut out.
the hell.
Ooh. You good, Big Joe?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
bro.
My bad. Yeah, like I said, if it's due to lack of funding, well, from the state, well, if it's due to lack of funding, then donation from alumni, or well, if it's just misappropriation of funds by higher ups. Either way, the kids don't deserve, to deal with that. So hopefully some can go to other schools, transfer, and get some PT. But either way, there's a lack of something, which is why the program closed. There's a lot of smaller schools that I've never even heard of before who've been in D2, D3 schools have been playing for hundreds of years. Hell, I know somebody who might play college ball in the UK from some school I never heard of. But their program's still getting funded. Meanwhile, we have a D2 school, who can't fund the football program. It's there has to be blame somewhere, but plenty enough blame to go around. Either way, I just feel bad for the kids.
Yeah. I want to keep up on the upright, meaning on my facts. But I've been hearing that as far as politics at St. Augustine has been that great. So that or I should say, there have been a lot of politics.
Hold up, bro. I missed that. Can you say that one more time?
Basically, there's been a lot of politics as far as money's being missing, and coaches being thrown under the bus, and stuff like that. So that could be the reason, but of course, I need to dig into that.
Yeah, and of course, Big Joe, he kind of filling in the gap where this would be like a Jay Good land, and he kind of filling that gap perfectly because they both
Jay
play
Good definitely
ball.
is.
But Jay Good, the one thing, I think the only difference between Big Joe and the Jay Good situation is the fact that Jay Good he went to HBCU, as opposed to Big Joe playing on a high level, at a PWI. But I think he kind of understood like the inner workings. The dynamics are the same, but I think between the PWI and the HBCU, Jay Good kind of understood like, how funds could be misappropriated. And of course, funds get misappropriated at PWIs all the time. But, just like if you look at the Vince McMahon and Diddy situation, for those individuals that's following 7-8, you get a different level of coverage when a HBCU does it as opposed to a PWI, because I remember, I'm not gonna be long with it, I'm just gonna kind of wrap it up. But when Southern misappropriated some funds, man, it was all over like the news and so on and so forth. Whereas when LSU and Southeastern did it, two PWIs, they kind of swept it under the rug. So, you're right, there's probably some blame to go around in terms of, the politicians, but more than anything, probably the higher ups misappropriating funds. We even saw it with the Coach Prime situation at J State. So yeah, and PWIs have more money to misappropriate. So that's why they don't feel these blows as much as the HBCUs,
Yes, I definitely agree. JB, what are your thoughts?
And just like what the fella said, man, it's sad that these boys don't get, to play football or have a place to go to school and play football. And for those who are there just for football, they have to find somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, how the transfer portal works in the CIAA, but it's just a sad situation, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it is, man. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, man. But just switching gears real fast. I know we mainly a football channel, but I'll be tripping if I skip over it. shout out to those Lady South Carolina Gamecocks. Today they won it all. They beat Iowa for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. This is a Coach Don Staley's second championship, and they went 37-0 for the first time. Since what, 2016? Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I know it's been a while, you know.
Yes, and people trying to make, even though it is, I'm ain't gonna lie, has been kind of racial. Well, kind of, it has been racial over the internet. But I will give Caitlin Clark her props. She's been balling. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. Hat goes off to her. But this segment is about the Lady Gamecocks. They it impressed me how deep they were, bro. Did you know most of their points came from their bench players, bro?
Yeah, I mean that's feasible. It's definitely feasible.
They were deep as hell. Deep. I'm coming to you first, Coach. What's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I mean, it was a pretty good game from my perspective. I don't even lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The fact that LSU Lady Tigers wasn't playing, it kind of like my enthusiasm level for the game really kind of was down. But I'm not gonna lie. You said you don't want to focus too much on Iowa, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade. There's definitely a racial dynamic and component.
It is what it is.
Situation, and I feel like most of the country probably wanted Iowa to win. In terms of Caitlin Clark, I'm not trying to hate on her because I'm gonna kind of tie this into an HBCU topic. Like, there's a certain segment of Southern University fans that don't like LSU. It's not the fact that they don't like LSU just because they don't like LSU. They don't like LSU, kind of what we talked about in the previous topic in terms of support from the state, funding, like media coverage and all kind of stuff like that. LSU gets like the lion's share of media coverage, like literally all over the state of Louisiana. And whereas like in Baton Rouge, like just say the sports section of the newspaper, I remember one year LSU was like a middle of the pack SEC team, and they had a bye week. They had a huge color like picture and a big article, and Southern was like the top of the SWAC, and they were undefeated, and they had a huge SWAC win, and they ended up going on to win the Black National Championship, SWAC Championship, and Southern got a little small black and white like picture in a small article, and Southern won, and LSU had a bye week. So I think it's the same type of dynamic with this. A lot of people want to see Iowa lose and Caitlin Clark fall on her face because it's the whole great white hope narrative that a lot of people have. They kind of feel like she's like the female Larry Bird. And, since we the LDBC, even back to our first like show that you and I had, bro, we talked about like the double standard, especially that they used to have back in the gap on HBO boxing, with Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, where somebody like Floyd Mayweather Jr., he come out boxing and Larry Merchant, like, running him down because he's saying it's boring, whatever the case may be. Yet somebody like Oscar De La Hoya, a non-black boxer, could do the same thing and it's praised. And it's the same thing with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, do the John Cena "You Can't See Me" sign, and she could do, even though John Cena really didn't invent that, but he's synonymous for it. She can do something and she considered to be, a fiery competitor, whatever the case may be. Whereas on the flip side, somebody like Angel Reese does the exact same thing. And Barstool Sports call her classless and so on and so forth. So, myself and a lot of other people, they want to see South Carolina lose because of the gross racial double standard, coming out of this. Really all the way back to last year between LSU and Iowa. And it just kind of spun over to this year. And I was just kind of happy that Dawn Staley was able to lead her Lady Gamecocks to undefeated season, and the fact that they won and got over the hump and they crushed America's sweetheart. I was happy for it.
Okay. Big Joe, what's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, no, it was a phenomenal game. Shout out to both teams. Both teams came to play. As an athlete, you just want to see players compete. You want to see them. This was the highest stake in women's basketball, and they both came out and played. The coaches had good game plans. Eventually this game came out to you know came out to several things. It came out to who had the best coaching and who also had the best defensive strategy. And South Carolina did a great job at putting the clamps on Kaylin Clark. It's something that I wanted LSU to do. LSU, some people said that the Moki didn't have the best game plan. It kind of allowed Kaylin to kind of do whatever she wanted. And this game she tried it, but the defense put the clamps on her. South Carolina, they got some dogs over there. Them ladies over there, they in your face the whole game. You swap somebody else out and put them in, they in your face as well. There was a lot of times during the game where Caitlin was getting stripped. She was getting stripped, or she made errant throws and whatnot. That's due to the pressure, of the defense and the pressure of the moment. The biggest thing that allowed South Carolina to win this game, it was the rebounds. South Carolina had 51 rebounds compared to Iowa's 29. I mean, that's a lot of second chance points. That's a lot of Iowa not able to get a shot at second chance points. So that was a huge advantage for them. And South Carolina had length. Those two girls who were down there, I think the one sister, she had 15 and 15. They think she was number 10 or whatnot. She was tremendous as well. And Iowa had no answer for her. So shout out to South Carolina. Shout out to Louis Vuitton Dawn, as they call her. She had the Louis Vuitton jacket on. She's a three-time champion now, the only black female coach to be a three-time champion. A lot of those players on that team is young. Most of them are freshmen. They were saying, once the starting five left, what were they going to be able to do? She'll end up going undefeated and winning championship. So South Carolina, I think they're gonna be the new UConn. It's in the NIL area, in the NIL era. So hopefully, she can keep it going. But she's a phenomenal coach, phenomenal lady, and she's a legend in her own right as a player. So shout out to South Carolina. And I'm not gonna say too much about Caitlin. She's getting roasted pretty good on social media. But we'll see if she can do 40 points in WNBA. And also, you can't consider yourself the GOAT if you ain't got no rings. I'll holla.
Okay, the great Big Joe has spoken. All right, JB, what is your thoughts on the game with the Lady Gamecocks winning it all?
Man, first of all, I like to say shout out to Caitlin Clark. She had a great season, historic season. But like you said, this is about the Coach Staley and the Lady Gamecocks. Shout out for having a 38-0 season. I know it says 37-0, but it's a typo. And this is our third championship. Look, man, and we talked about it during the game, Jared. And just like what Town said, I noticed. I said, man, they can't out rebounds these girls, and then South Carolina has shooters too. So every time Caitlin Clark would hit a three, or that girl Martin would hit a three, you had somebody from South Carolina, that the light skinned girl, what's her name? I think her name was number 5. She was just knocking down threes. And she was a freshman. And just keep in mind, this was incredible because last year, all her starting 5 left. This is a new team.
Basically, yeah.
So this is what we were saying about this NIL thing. There's some minuses and pluses about this. This is one of the pluses, especially if you can coach. And Don Staley just showed, if you can recruit and you can get some type of players from the portal who are transferring, and you know what you're looking at, you get teams like this. Thanks, J Bar. Poa was knocking them things down from long range.
I think you also try to think about the freshman Tessa Johnson.
Tessa Johnson, yeah. Poa and Tessa Johnson, yes. So every time Caitlin Clark would hit one, Paul Poe and Tessa Johnson would knock one down. They were just too deep, man. And then you had that Colombian girl from the middle,
Cardoso.
that's Cardosa. She was a monster. She was grabbing everything that came off that glass. And then you had number 10, the dark skinned girl, and then you had the white girl, number 21. They were just too deep. Although both of those girls was big. So, man, I would say congrats to Coach Stanley, not just for winning at all, but just good coaching and good scouting and all around.
I agree. I definitely agree, man. Congratulations to, and again, the correction is they're 38-0. So my apologies for the typo. But congratulations to the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, man. They had a historic season, man, and they got plenty of freshmen, so they're gonna be back next year. But moving along. Now, the topic of the show. Young and on top of the world, but what if you screw it up? So, those who don't know, Rasheed Rice, which was one of the go-to wide receivers for Patrick Mahomes, basically he bailed Patrick Mahomes out at the ending part of the season from the at the end part of the season throughout the playoffs. He started catching a lot of balls for Patrick Mahomes. Even though the Kansas City Chiefs basically had like probably a rough no, ain't no probably. They had a rough start as far as passing the ball and finding targets. And it wasn't Patrick Mahomes' fault, it was their wide receivers. But Rasheed Rice came on top and basically going towards the end of the season, like I said, in the playoffs, started catching a lot of balls. So I say all that to say this. Those who don't know, they've been living under a rock. He was got into he caused a bad collision with some friends in his Lamborghini, and he basically caused a big ass accident. So
he was drag racing,
and basically he's in trouble right now. So we're not going to take this opportunity to kick this young man while he's down, because to be honest with you, there's people in the past that did worse, but this was crazy, man. So my question to the panel, right? Do these, when we look in the past, right? We had the Johnny Manziels, we had the Dante Starworks who killed a man drunk driving.
Sorry, YouTube. Deleted. He deleted him.
Deleted. Thank you. Deleted. A man while driving. Do these players, especially the young men who are on top and making a lot of money, do they know what position they in? Do they know that they're the first, some of the first ones in their family to make this type of money, or you know what I mean, or even create generational wealth? Where was that friend to tell them, hey man, you got practice, or you have, your football season coming up. I know you party having a good time, you know what I mean? But at the same time, don't put yourself in a position where you can't come back from. Like, where was that? Who was that? I can't remember that wide receiver from Oakland Raiders who.
Henry Ruggs.
He's another good example. So, going to you, Big Joe, what can we tell the like young folks say? Like, and it can not just be NFL. It can be, you know, a promising senior in high school that know they're going to a Division I school, but you know, a lot of their friends are knuckleheads, or a young man that's in college. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of knuckleheads around them, and not necessarily some hood dudes, just some dudes around them like the party be reckless. What advice would you give some of these young men out here, Big Joe?
Um, well, let me first say, the NFL, what is 32 teams of 53 players plus well, like 10 practice squad guys. So there's thousands of guys in the NFL. So there's some people try to make it like, oh, the NFL has an issue. They try to say Henry Ruggs and his brother, oh, NFL has a driving issue or whatever. There's only a handful of guys in the whole league who are doing certain things. So predominantly, a lot of guys in the NFL are pretty responsible. So a lot of, like when the whole Ray Rice thing happened, they're trying to make it where like the NFL had like a domestic violence issue when
Yeah,
it's only
I
a
did
couple
like that.
guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but yeah, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff stems from home. If you don't have any good parenting at home, all that will show up when it's in the biggest moment or when you get to a stage to where you have to be accountable for your actions. Unfortunately, a lot of players, they don't come from the best environments. They come from single parent homes, or they come from a certain, they come from the hood, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of them, don't have, the right guidance. And then of course you throw them in a college landscape to where they're, like I said before, they're athlete student, not student athlete. So they mainly play football, and then not too much manhood development happens in college. Like some guys grow up, most don't. Then they go to the NFL. For the ones that can make go to the NFL, when you've been told you're the best thing since sliced bread your whole life, it's gonna be hard for you to listen to anybody. I've been there. When you're all American, you're all state, you're drafted in the first round, and then somebody hands you $30 million. I mean, it's kind of hard for anybody to tell you anything. So my advice is to a lot of guys is to, they have vets in the locker room for a reason. They've been there before. Like a young wide receiver, Odell Beckham's a good vet. If you're a D tackle, Aaron Donald or Fletcher Cox is a good vet. Get around some vets, who can show you how to, move in the NFL. They have rookie symposiums. I believe they still do. And players go, either they listen or they don't. You're gonna have some knuckleheads and you're gonna have some guys who just, they're gonna have to learn the hard way, unfortunately. They're gonna squander the millions and they're gonna make a mistake that they can't come back from. Perfect example was the brother who was smoking weed and he wouldn't stop. He was like, I think he played for the Browns, he played for several teams, he's a wide receiver. And he just couldn't stop smoking weed. He'll get
Yeah,
10.
he was playing for the Patriots. What that boy name is?
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon. He had chance after chance after chance after chance, and he just couldn't stop until eventually they stopped giving him chances. So it's just a lot of these guys feel like, I'm young, I can keep on doing this. If I make a mistake, my talent is good enough to keep me here. But a lot of times, the guys don't know too much about the business of football, which is why they have agents and everything. They don't know that you're literally one decision away from never getting the opportunity ever again. There's not anywhere else you can go where you can get a $30 million signing bonus or a $10 million signing bonus, or hell, even a $500,000 signing bonus. That's why a lot of guys, when they stop playing, that's why you got guys who trying to play like Terrell Owens. He's still trying to play. You know what I mean? You just can't get that kind of money up front anywhere else. But as far as it's hard to let go when you're around certain people like your homies or whatnot. You want to bring everybody along with you, but everybody is not meant to be in the spotlight with you. Everybody's not meant to have a rational decision making like you. Everybody who stands beside you don't care about your career, don't care about your well being. They're there for the ride. They're there for the bottles. They're there for the girls. They're there to be in a Lamborghini. They're there to get the privilege of being beside you. So you're gonna have a lot of guys who just tagging along for the ride. So for the guy who's making the money, the player, he's gonna have to figure out who's in his best interest, and then they're gonna have to move along. Perfect example was John Morant. fully John Morant. He's fleshed out all of his friends, and now he's more quiet and moving different. But he almost lost his career due to his homie kept pulling out his phone. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys got to learn the hard way. But there's plenty of players who never had any instances who moved the right way. Hopefully young guys can pattern off of that. But in the era of social media where everybody's pulling out their phones and everybody is recording everything, it's harder now for these guys to kind of keep stuff on the wraps. If the Cowboys in the '90s had social media and phones like they were now, Michael Irvin, a lot of guys probably would have been kicked out of the league, and whatnot. So another good example for somebody is Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis almost lost his career due to
Yeah.
some foolishness. So there's examples out there, but unfortunately, some folks have to bump their head, and some folks have to lose it all from to understand what they had. So, for all the young guys out there, just keep the main thing the main thing. Play ball, do the best you can because your window is real short. Because when that window is gone, your number will get taken off of you and given to somebody else. So, handle your business, maximize your money, be friends with people who care about you, not care about your lifestyle. And make sure the lady that you're with is there for you and not for the luxury.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. And that's why they a lot of NFL and former NFL players would tell you the NFL stands for not for long. So you definitely got to be smart. So good stuff, Big Joe. Salute to my brother Big Reg, man. Loved his show last night. Big Boy Talk. And he also talks about football. Baltimore. He was a Baltimore Ravens fan. Um, but he can do it all. He can talk about like manhood, sports, all that. So please show the brother some love, man. Um, Coach, going to you. What would you tell these youngsters out here if they're in a good position? Again, it doesn't matter if it's a senior, a promising senior that know in high school that knows he's going somewhere, or a senior, or just a college student that's good at football or basketball, whatever the case may be, and they know that they might get picked up by a professional league, but they got knuckleheads around them. From
Well,
your,
me,
what would you, how would you guide them? What would you say?
me, I will go even further down on the level I coach. I coach middle school, and bro, I kid you not. It's the world that we live in is different now than the world that we lived in when I was their age, when I was in middle school. Because, truthfully speaking, like my middle school coach was a legend. Like he was a living legend, and he was revered. Like some of the things that these kids say in my presence or do, had we done or had somebody done or said some of those same things at that age, he'd have tried to knock their head off. And guess what? Nobody wouldn't have said anything. And even if they'd have went home and told their parents were friends with him or their grandparents were friends with him. So these kids, like Big Joe said, it starts at home because even in my personal experience, that a player who I coached last year, he passed, the first day of this new year on New Year's Day. Uh, it wasn't so much, him. Of course, he had his issues, but I think he had family members around him that were, involved in gang related type activity. And he just happened to be an innocent victim, And even recently, I had a student that was in my class about 4-5 years ago, and she OD'd. I think she was like popping Molly or whatever, and they had fentanyls and pills or whatever, and she did a passing. So literally, bro, like some of the players I coached, like there was another player I coached a few years ago, and I literally told him his brother just had gotten killed. I'm sorry, his brother just had gotten deleted, by opposing gang.
Yeah,
And I told him, I'm like, son, do you want to be a basketball player or do you want to be a gangster? Because you can't be both. And guess what, bro? Literally, he chose the gangster route. And he's 17 years old. He's looking at 20 to life as we speak.
Oh man.
So the point I'm trying to make is some of these individuals, it's their home environment. So whether they're on a middle school level, you can even go up to a college level because I've seen it at LSU with like Ryan Perrilloux and Cecil Collins. You got certain individuals like Big Joe said, you've been told you're the best thing since sliced bread your entire life. You've done like things in the past. They keep giving you passes or slaps on the wrist. They just keep passing you through because you're the superstar athlete. But it's gonna come a point where you're not gonna be able to keep getting away with the same things you got away with. Even if you look at the NFL and NBA level, like Big Joe was saying, he kind of stole one of my talking points. Every year the NFL has this rookie symposium, and truthfully speaking, bro, like I've seen Herm Edwards talk to these players like ad nauseum about some of the do's and don'ts. And basically, some of these same players, like it literally goes in one end out the other. And some of these things he tells them not to do in the symposium back in those days, they still do them. Even in the NBA, you might have players that, constantly do things and do silly things and get in trouble. But once it get to a point where the juice isn't worth the squeeze, if you look at someone like Allen Iverson, like when he was a superstar, he'd get away with certain things. But once his level of trouble exceeded his superstar talent, then they had no use for him. So the point I would try to make is, first and foremost, it starts at home. In my personal experience, a lot of people isn't receptive to constructive criticism, whether it's on the middle school level, the high school level, the college level, professional level, whatever the case may be. But if I was to give them advice, I would say, like Joe said, you need to keep your circle small. And more than anything, you need to see who really is there, like legitimately and genuinely concerned about you. So, whether we talking about maybe like a Johnny Manziel or Dante Starward or Henry Ruggs III, whoever, Jamarcus Russell. You have so many athletes that were exceptional, but they got in trouble at some point, and it kind of is what it was, So, that's why they talk at these symposiums about the shelf life of a professional athlete in NFL and NBA is about 4 years, and they broke within 5. So you have to, make as much money as you could, and you have to take care of that money. You have to make wise and prudent decisions along the way,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And to be fair, there's a lot of things that are tempting to these young brothers and even sisters out here, man. They trying to do their thing in sports or whatever the case may be. So, but like you and Joe said, they have to have real people around to tell them, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. You got too much to lose. I wouldn't go there. You know what I mean? So y'all definitely right. And I had to save the best for last.
Well,
JB.
hold on, bro. One other thing I want to point out too, you got to realize a lot of these guys in the NFL, like Big Joe was saying, they might have been broke or poor their entire life. Now all of a sudden, you've been broke your entire life. Now you're getting
money,
millions of dollars. So there's going to be a ridiculous amount of temptation that comes with that. Not everyone has the right guidance around them to help navigate them through that situation. Even if you look at, like he was saying, John Morant had both parents at his disposal, and it wasn't getting prudent guidance. In other instances, guys are getting the proper guidance, and they're still not doing the right things. And then you got other people like Ryan Garcia, even though this is kind of more our sport. Well, all of it, really, football and boxing, really, basketball also. But the point I'm trying to make is, he's a professional boxer, and he clearly has mental health issues. But yeah, he doesn't have the proper guidance in terms of his parents. Now, it's not even a individual that's black. Instead of him saying, "Hey, bro, like, you need to sit your behind down. You need to chill. Like, there's nobody reining in. So, like Big Joe said, I hate that they make it a race thing. They try to label our young brothers. Some of them didn't have the proper guidance. Some of them might have been poor their whole life. Now they coming in the millions. They need to take care of the millions, but in many instances, they don't have the right guidance. And there's a lot of temptation. Everybody can't handle that. And, even when I was 20, I was never, I was all average at best athlete most of my life. But, had I been in the situation a lot of these guys are, like my parents would have been able to lead me in the right direction. Some of these guys come from broken homes, single parent households, whatever the case may be. They don't have the proper guidance to lead them and guide them through these particular situations. So, we need to give some of these young men grace,
I agree, man. But so I guess my question is to how much grace we have to give them to the point where we give them too much grace. They eventually gonna run into something like what Rasheed Rice did, or you know what I mean, where it can alter their career, or they might not even playing ball anymore. So I guess that's what my question is. You know what I mean? When do we, we definitely understand they coming from broken homes, and like the John Morant situation is very a frustrating situation on the outside looking in, having both parents, but it seems like both parents are ignorant. So that my heart go out to that talented young brother, but at the same time, there have to be somebody that has to speak into your life and point you in the right direction. But like you said, it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't know better where you came from and your parents got you this far.
Yeah, bro. And just to kind of put a cap on it for me, bro, you right, but more than anything, you give them a little grace, you tell them the right thing, and they aren't receptive to it. It's going to come to a point where they're going to mess themselves up, like you said, to a point where they reach a point of no recovery. Because, if you look at somebody like a J.R. Ryder, he kept getting in trouble, time after time. And he got to a point he didn't get a second chance. And he was good enough to be like a star caliber player in the NBA, but he couldn't get another opportunity. So it comes to a point where, at some point they're going to mess it up for themselves, whether it's him or whether it's Johnny Manziel or whoever. So in many instances, bro, you talk to people, that's why unless the students in my class, players on my team, I don't give unsolicited advice anymore because most of the time people aren't receptive to it anyway, even if it is constructive criticism. So more than anything, bro, you give them a little grace, you tell them what they need to hear. If they aren't receptive to it, they're gonna mess it up for themselves anyway. And like Big Joe was saying, NFL, NBA, like the type of money they get, bro, the average individual that's walking, of course, a lot of people talking about six figures nowadays. Bro, that's not easy to come by. So you can't go and just work a regular job and make millions of dollars. So the shelf life of a professional athlete, like I said yesterday on episode 40 about you sports talk, the shelf life of a professional athlete is short. And once it's gone, it's gone. So that's why you have to maximize it. And once, you get to a certain point, you have to kind of be like Ocho Cinco and be conservative and save your money,
I hear you, man. I definitely hear you. JB, what are your thoughts?
Man, when I heard the Rasheed Rice situation, I was like, why the hell are you drag racing for on the highway? Why? For what? And see, this is the thing, man. It's like, this is the age of social media, right? And I understand, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with flossing a little bit. But it's the thing where everybody put every daggone thing on social media on the internet. And whoever so-called friends was with him ain't worth two damn flying smack. Because I know one damn thing, when the police was looking for him, their friends wasn't there. His friends wasn't there. Nobody, you got to turn yourself in by yourself. So, and like I said, we don't want to, beat up on the young man, but this is going to be an L.
Yeah.
An L moment for him.
Yeah.
a learning lesson for him when I say L, because he's not a loser. But this is gonna be an L moment, a learning lesson for his behind. Man, come on, bro. You got family that's looking up to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the young man got wives and kids, bro. But come on, man. Drag racing on the highway, bro. Could have killed somebody. And that picture you put up, bro, is is perfect. Cause Johnny Manziel had it all. He was the man coming out of Texas A&M. And shout out to, the Club Shay Shay podcast. When he was on there, he talked about how basically he wasted his career in Cleveland. He could have been the man, you know what I'm saying? Veterans like Joe Thomas and I think that's when Josh Gordon, speak of the devil, was there, and he wasted it, partying and stuff. So it's very, very, very important that you have good people around you, man, that's telling you, you know, good things, you know what I'm saying? Hey, there ain't no more friends. I feel like there's no more friends to tell you, man, get away from here, bro. Especially if you got those friends that live that life. You know what I'm saying? Where, hey man, I may be a game banger or whatever, but you not, bro. Get away from here.
Oh, not even the game.
Don't come back.
Oh, good point, JB. Not even a game banger. Like, hey man, I drag race and I act crazy. I wouldn't suggest you do that, bro.
You know right. I mean? Like, but you got people that's jealous of what you got. And I think like Black Fight Fan said it when he used to do Trill Talk. You got demolition people that will join your shit just to blow it up.
Mm.
So I just hope this is a learning lesson for the young man. And he was one of the best receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs when everybody was dropping it. Yeah, dropping the ball for them last year, and he was a beast. But this is not the way to go, man. And him and Hollywood Brown gonna kill some things, this upcoming year. But I don't know if he's more than likely gonna be suspended.
Most likely, unfortunately. I don't think he killed deleted anybody. Sorry, YouTube, deleted anybody. But yeah,
he could have though.
Yeah,
he could have. So he could have been a Henry Ruggs or a Dante Stallworth. Go ahead, Jerry.
And Bobby Fields passed in the same situation. The only difference is he hit something and Bobby Fields passed away. So we didn't look at it from that perspective. He could have deleted other people, but he could have passed himself.
True, man. And shout out to Picasso, man. Always support and appreciate you, brother. He said, I'm looking at the title, Fame is a Beast. Some can handle it, some can't. It's part of the process or struggle, whichever one fits you. In my opinion, grow the F up, responsibility and discipline. True, everybody ain't able, and some are. Take advantage of your gift. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It just blows my mind, certain athlete, people just take it for granted, you know what I mean? But I believe this shall pass. He's gonna be all right. It's like JB said, there's a learning experience, man.
Take that L. Take that L, young man.
And just learn from it. But man, good topic, y'all. Good cooking, y'all. I will say this, man. If y'all haven't seen my interview with Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, it's on my live. I have two versions, the live version and the version I uploaded. Either one, it don't matter. Please view it. Emory Hunt is a legend as far as looking for talent, color commentating. A lot of your big famous color commentators steal from him. I call him the hardest working black man in sports. And if you want to support that brother, go to his website, which is at the bottom here, thefootballgameplan.com, and get your copy of the Football Game Plan 2024 Draft Guide, which a lot of people get it and steal from him, and they don't give him his credit. But I had to do that interview, so I was psyched to doing that interview with that brother, man. That was big time, man. I appreciate all y'all support, man. But we gonna wrap it up, man. Good show, y'all. Good show. Big Joe, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Yeah, man, you can catch me on all LDBC platforms. Supporting the brothers and the sisters of the LDBC. Salute to Coach Jared, brother JB. And to all the young athletes out there, you can keep the main thing the main thing.
Yes, sir.
You can get away with stuff in high school, you can get away with stuff in college, but when you get to the NFL, you're dealing with grown men in the locker rooms, men who have wives, who have children, who have to put food on their table. And if you come in there acting a fool, best believe the vets are going to discipline you, and they're going to get you up out that building. So keep the main thing, and maximize your opportunity.
Great stuff, Big Joe. Mr. Southern, Coach 67 Sports TV. Let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Well, you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. I have a new Coach 67 Sports TV group on Facebook. You can catch me on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube. Yesterday was episode 40 of Bayou Sports Talk. Next week, I'm going to have some coverage of Southern University's spring football game. So y'all check me out on my channel. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Salute to the LDBC.
Salute.
Peace and blessings to everybody. Catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir. And JB, any last words, man? Thank you for always supporting me behind closed doors.
You know I always got you, bro. Salute to y'all boys, man.
All right. Well, this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all be safe out here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Y'all have a blessed day.